live. We're live on. Wait. Okay, I'll grab the cards in a minute. Sorry I'm late, y'all. Babe made food, and it took a minute to get from the pot to the plate.
You're talking shit.
It did take a minute to get from the pot to the plate. So I'm just eating right now, but we're still doing the live. We're still going to be here.
Yeah, okay. That's all I needed.
Ooh. The flavor is there. This is what I'm eating, by the way. For those who are curious what it is. It's called, what is it again? Tajín verde with...
No, tajín verde.
Oh, hold on. Let me get my Spain out. I roll my R's. Tajín verde.
Con huancaína sauce.
Con huancaína sauce. That's what I'm eating right now. That's what I'm eating right now. It's a Peruvian dish. I feel like this dish has a lot of influences, though. We got pasta. Italian. We got pesto.
Yeah,
Italian. The huancaína sauce.
The huancaína sauce is it's Peruvian, but I think it's from the, what did it say? I think maybe the Incas or the Andes.
Interesting. So yeah, I'm just eating real quick and then we're gonna start it because your girl needs energy to pull these one. But yeah. On today's episode of What is Abby Eating? Abby's eating Peruvian food. It is really good. It is really, really, really good.
It's spicy.
And it has a kick. It's not as spicy as you usually make it. It's because
I made it tolerable for you.
She said tolerable. This is how you know. It's how you know I'm Dominican, because y'all know Dominicans don't like spicy food. Y'all know Dominicans don't like spicy food. Except for my mom. My mom likes like Indian food like crazy. She loves curry. She loves all types of Indian food. Like, Your
mom likes the huancaína sauce.
Yeah, and mom likes Peruvian food too. But yeah, babe just cooks. For everybody who just got here, the reason why we're late, because we were supposed to start at 8 minutes, is because babe was cooking and it took a minute. She literally finished at 8:03. So I was waiting for the food because the girl needs, energy to eat. So I'm eating some Peruvian food. Is what it looks like. Okay. So it's called, wait, I gotta roll my R's again. What is it called?
Tajín
verde with huancaína sauce.
There you go.
I'm getting there, y'all. I'm getting there. It's really good. It's really, really good. It's really, really good. But we're gonna get started in a minute. Yeah, today's live, somebody said, feeling stuck, yes. I can't get the medical help I need, and I don't know what's blocking it. Y'all, the reason why I called this live is feeling stuck is because as we head closer to the eclipse, things are about to hit the fan. I'm just saying. Side note, since we're talking about food a little bit, I keep telling Babe that she should do that channel that, where people just like eat. Because I swear to God, watching her eat is an experience. Like, I don't know what it is. She just makes love to food when she's eating. It's true though. Like, I feel like she could have one of those channels where you just see her eat. Because anytime we're like on a date or something, I'm just looking at her eating like.
Because I eat with passion.
She eats with passion,
if
y'all.
It's good. If it's good, I eat with passion. If it's not, you hear me like, nah,
she's gonna be complaining. Yeah. But I'm telling you, she needs to start one of these channels. There's so many times that I've told her this. I'm like, you should have been done this. So, I wish I could taste this right now. It's so good. It's definitely not as spicy as you usually make it, because the sauce, it's the yellow sauce, the huancaína sauce is usually really spicy because it has Peruvian yellow peppers in there. Y'all, my tongue be burning sometimes with that sauce. Well, I like the alteration better. It's nice.
We also make a pasta. It's called la tallarine de roncaina, which is the cheese sauce in the pasta.
Oh, really? Oh,
And then we also make it with the red.
the red.
The red, like the tomato sauce is like the regular, like Italian pasta, but it's just we add a little sugar to it to kill the acidity, so it's sweeter.
I don't think I've tasted that one before.
My mom makes it when we go to the beach.
No, I haven't tasted that one.
With the carne? Yeah.
The red one? No, I haven't tasted a red pasta from your mom.
Well, anyways.
No.
Have fun in your life.
Bye, baby. I love you.
Love you more.
This was like a cameo, babe. Because me and babe don't like eating separately. Like we always like eating together. So, like if she finds out I ate without her, it's a fight. It's a fight on my block. So yeah. Oh, baby, close the door. Okay. But I hope y'all doing good on this week. Heavy Taurus vibes. Witch placement. Listen, I feel like Uranus has just been rocking Taurus silent. It's like a silent but deadly kind of situation with like what's been going on with Tauruses on some crazy shit. Like, listen, even the Tauruses I know are going through it right now, and I just been like, there's a part of Tauruses that like to move like with some time because they're an earth sign, so they like to plan some of their moves, right? And they like to kind of take one step and just be like, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna focus on this. But I'll do it in like 2-3 months, whatever. And Uranus is like, F that, we're doing it. Like Uranus has been rocking Taurus, and Taurus placements have been going through it. Like, and it's just so funny because anytime I'm doing a reading for a Taurus recently, and I'm looking at and the cards come up, it's like, okay, I see what you're trying to do, but it's gonna happen a lot sooner than you were. It's gonna happen a lot sooner than you were. It's kind of like that line from what is it? I think it's Avengers Endgame, or is it Avengers Infinity War? Yeah, we're just gonna get nerdy for a second. That line when they're flying into Wakanda, but the guy hasn't flown there before. I can't remember who it is. He hasn't flown there before, and he's like, you better be right about this or we're gonna land a lot faster than you think. It's kind of like that. Like that's what Uranus is doing to Taurus right now. It's straight up like landing faster. So good. My baby can cook. I'm so glad I married a woman that can cook. Y'all, blessed. I stay blessed. So yeah, it's very layered. It's a very layered thing with Taurus and Taurus placement. Like, I got Taurus in my 10th house. So y'all, these next 14 years are gonna be like, well, I mean, I know I've been doing a lot of legacy work, and that's just what's happening. But I'm just trying not to fight against it and just kind of work with it right now. Just do what I need to do, because that's really what you can do with the generational planets. If you just, instead of like pushing back on their energy, you just work with the energy, you'll be fine. It's the same with Saturn. Like, a lot of people you guys know a lot of people love to shit on Saturn, just for anything, just for doing what Saturn does, right? A lot of people love shitting on Saturn, but one of the reasons why I had such a great Saturn return, like literally beautiful Saturn return, was because I did not fight it whatsoever. I was like, oh, next 3 years, we're going to see some grounding life changes. Bet. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm ready to be grounded. I'm not going to fight it. Oh, this friend's not supposed to be in my life no more? Cool. Thank you for being here for the time that you did. Like, I'm not going to sit here and fight stuff that, like, it's meant to have, like, you know, like, I'm not that type of person that will fight with, like, what the energy is telling me to do. It's kind of like when you're playing a video game and you have to do the level in the way that you have to do it. But like, you know, like if you when you get to the end of that level, you might lose something that you gained before. Maybe you'll lose the weapon, or maybe y'all, I've been playing Tomb Raider a lot. That's how you know. That's how where that reference is coming from. But it's kind of like you get to the point where it's like, oh, I just finished upgrading all these damn weapons, and now they're gone because I'm playing this part of the game that requires me to play the story. And so it can be, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, I got to play the game. I got to keep playing the game. What am I going to be mad at the game? I'm going to sit here and be mad forever? Like, no. So this is one of those things where you just got to go with the flow. And honestly, when it comes to the planets, I feel like Uranus is a lot tougher than Saturn in many ways. And I know that sounds like me being biased because, you know, I'm a Capricorn and I love Daddy Saturn. that probably sounds really biased. But the reason why I think Uranus is more, like, I feel like a little bit more extreme is because Uranus rules that. That's part of like that kind of like chaotic kind of all over like forcing you into change. Like Saturn will be like, oh, here's your karma. You're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn a million times. We're gonna keep you in the cycle until you get it together, right? Like in a way where it's like you're just trying to bring you some sort of progression. But then Uranus will be like, I just destroyed everything in your life. So in many ways, I feel like Uranus is a lot tougher. Saturn just does things with like a distant love, like I just want you to get it together kind of thing. But yeah, no, Saturn still gets the most shit from everybody. It's hilarious to me. It will always be hilarious to me. So good, y'all. Yeah, I need to get on Peruvian food. It does not get talked about enough, but it is so good. So good. I love it when my baby cooks because so good. Amazing. I'm gonna probably finish that in a bit, but let us get started. I'm so concerned because my Taurus is ascending and my Scorpio is in my 6th and 7th house, and with all these eclipses. What, honestly, I'm telling you, you just gotta go with the flow. You gotta go where the energy is going regardless, because the energy is gonna go there anyway. It's kind of like there's no way to avoid it. There's no way to fight it. There's just no. And this is what I mean by like kind of working with the inevitable kind of energy. Like if you know like something's just gonna happen, if you know you're about to get your shit rocked, come to peace with it. Because at that point, like what else can you do? What can you do? The eclipses energy each one lasts 2.5 weeks. So it's a lot longer than the regular moon's energy. So the impacts that, you know, May is about to have, May is going to be something else. But the impact is something that it's meant to be very much like shaking you to your core. It's meant to be very much like things need to shift, because what Uranus is doing to Taurus right now is ultimately saying, hey, there's certain things you need to change here that you've been ignoring. There's certain things that you've been very stuck in, because that's the other thing about Taurus. Tauruses are the most stubborn astrological sign. Tauruses also rules the finances, money, the earth. A lot of climate change issues are accelerating right now. Also because not only because, you know, human beings suck, but also because Uranus is rocking Taurus right now. So, can we just hold a moment for, you know, the fact that Uranus will eventually go into Gemini? That shit is gonna be crazy. If you think Uranus and Taurus is something, Uranus and Gemini is gonna be chaotic as hell. Communication issues. Okay. But we're not there yet. It's gonna take quite a lot more years to get there because Uranus takes 14 years to move from sign to sign. So but those 14 years are going to be very interesting. But with Taurus, it's just very much getting grounded. It's a restructuring of pleasure, of your values, of your money, of the things you care about, of the things you possess. And because Tauruses also rule certain things that are not good, like for example, overconsumption. That includes overeating. That includes so overconsumption, overeating. That includes overspending money. That includes hoarding. Okay, because it's very layered. Like Tauruses, there's certain things of extreme to every single sign astrologically. There are extremes to those signs, and 1000% when it comes to Taurus, food consumption, the way money is spent, but also it's a hoarder part of them where they just want to possess everything that makes them happy. They just want to possess it. So it's layered. There's a psychology behind it. And right now Uranus is just breaking down a lot of the things that don't need to be there in order for their foundation to be very, very solid and stable. There's a lot going on, y'all. There's also a huge evolution happening within the way that we look at money and finances, because Taurus rules financial institutions. So the fact that more people are getting into like Bitcoin and EFTs and all these kind of like different ways to digitize money, because Uranus rules technology, not surprising at all. And I wouldn't be surprised if things shift currency wise within the next, within the next years to come. I wouldn't be surprised. Because listen, is a lot. Now we are ending this week with a whole ass eclipse. And if you want to see my eclipse breakdown, make sure you go to my YouTube, because that is where I did my breakdown for it. So you're going to get a spell guide, you're going to get the tarot, the oracle, and the astrology breakdown on there. So make sure you go and check that video out. But y'all, this week we are building towards an eclipse, which means that this is kind of the calm before the storm, sort of, kind of. It's a calm before the storm. So what should you be doing right now? What should you be doing right now? What is the collective energies for this week? What do we need to know collectively? What do we need to know? Y'all, what do we need to know collectively? Y'all, what do we need to know collectively for this week? Okay. What do we need to know collectively for this week? Oh my God. Okay. Bottom of the deck, talking about the devil right here. Taurus, the Hierophant with the Two of Swords, the Eight of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, I know I always stop at a major. And the Fool. The Fool card. Bottom of the deck. Some of y'all don't know how you're going to get from point A to point B. Some of y'all don't know how you're going to get from point A to point B. I bet. So, our cards for this solar eclipse, we have the Eight of Pentacles, the High Priestess, the Chariot card, okay? Ooh, the King of Cups, the Two of Pentacles, and our outcome for this week is the Four of Wands. For those who are, if you want a personal reading, you can check out my website. The link will be in my bio. When it comes to this week we are building into. We're almost there's a lot of work being put in, not only by like us emotionally, but also on a spiritual level. There's a lot that we're doing this week. This week would be a very important week to be very mindful of your emotional energy. Okay, this is where we're gonna cancel. Y'all don't forget there's a whole stellium in Pisces. For those who don't know what I mean, a stellium is when the planets are in the same sign, but it's like more than 3 planets. 3 or more planets are in the same sign. Okay, we have a whole stellium in Pisces. a whole lot dealing with Pisces right now. And because of that, you need to be mindful of your emotional energy, because even though it's Taurus season and there's a lot going on in there, there's also a lot of water in the chart. So there's an essence of Pisces energy right now that's coming through. And because Pisces is all about creativity, dreams, the subconscious mind, okay, spirituality, and really working through your emotional energy. You need to pay attention to your emotional energy. You need to pay attention to also revisit some of the spell work that you guys have been doing, some of the intentions that you have been doing as well. Because you might have been like, you know, working, or you might have set the intention or at the beginning of the year, or maybe last year in the fall, for something to happen specifically. And then all of a sudden, you see some movements in that area. And this is something that I've also been noticing a lot on my end. Like I've been noticing that intentions that I've set last year or at the beginning of this year already are starting to come to pass in a very random way. Okay, so be mindful of random kind of manifestations. Be mindful of how some of your intentions are kind of being put to work right now. Be mindful of like the way that your emotional energy it's been playing a role in your success and in the way that you are receiving certain things. Okay. Some of y'all are getting literally things out of nowhere. Like there's things that are manifesting out of, like you're all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, I did ask for this like a month ago, and now here it is. Like it's just the way that the water element works as far as manifestations. It does take a minute. It can take time for it to fully, you know, come into fruition, for you to fully be able to see it and celebrate it and be in it. But it requires you to stay in this flow. Okay, it requires you to stay in this flow. And right now there needs to be a balance between the water element and the earth element, because it's Taurus season, but the chart is heavy in water, which is why I called this live feeling stuck. Okay, feeling stuck in the mud. And that's why the picture, if you go, for those who are going to want to replay this live, you can go to my YouTube. But y'all, this is why the picture for this live is a bull stuck in the mud, like covered in mud. That's the reason why I chose that picture, by the way. I don't do stuff for no reason. You already know. But this is a very, very layered time this week because we are feeling stuck. There are certain things that are going to become unstuck, and it's going to happen randomly. I cannot stress this enough. There are certain things that are going to just random. Like you're just going to be like, wait. Like it's just going to be one of those tough, like you got to double back. You got to like just recheck, like hold that moment for a second. It's going to require you to do that. This week is all about you not only getting like something, having a breakthrough of something, but it's being a test of your balance. It's a test of how much effort and how much focus, how like almost like you stuck through it. And because you stuck through it, you're able to see the fruits of your labor. You're able to see the shifts now. You're able to see how, you know, the difference. You're able to kind of see now. Okay, you're able to get from point A to point B. Like there's a little bit of a difference there. But it requires for you to stay in your power. I cannot say this enough. This week, you need to stay in your power. You need to stay in your power because this eclipse is no freaking joke. It really is no joke. But the way that the water element is coming up, do you see this? We got the Chariot, which is a card of Cancer, the High Priestess card, and the King of Cups. This week requires you to sit in your power spiritually, emotionally, for you to connect in that way to yourself and really look at and assess what has already come to pass this month. April was always going to be a very chaotic month, no lie. And this is because April it just had so many different moons. Okay, we started off the month with a whole new moon in Aries, and then we had the full moon in Libra, and now we're moving into the new moon in Taurus and the solar eclipse in Taurus. So it's very, very layered. It is very layered. It's a lot of energies. April kind of felt like 2 months in one, if I'm gonna keep it honest with y'all. And because of that, and because of the way that the chart, if you look at the astrology, there's a lot of water in the chart. It's coming up here for this week, okay? This is the time for you to literally sit in your power. And honestly, I would make sure Give yourselves a spiritual bath. You want to be working with the water element. If you want to make yourself feel unstuck, you need to be working with the water element, with the earth element in a way that is productive. Okay, in a way that keeps you in balance. So with the water element, take your spiritual baths. Make sure that you are, refreshing the offerings, especially with water for your spirits. Make sure that you are hydrated. Make sure that you are staying consistent in that space, okay? But with the earth element, make sure what you're consuming substance. Make sure that you are consuming things that are giving you energy, that are giving, are not making you weirdly just like you just feel like a couch potato, like you don't want to move anywhere. It doesn't, like, the energy is just not productive to your energy, like it's not going anywhere. You want to make sure that you're consuming foods during this time that are supplementing the you want, okay? And this is one of my favorite things to do of all time is to literally just eat food, like eat certain foods for certain things. Like I will be eating strawberries and I'll be eating strawberries for attraction. I'll make myself a smoothie and I'll be, whatever I use in that smoothie, it'll have like an intention behind it. I'll be making myself mango or plátanos or rice and I'll be doing abundance work. Like I like to make sure, like, kitchen witchcraft is something that I feel like everybody should practice, regardless of what you practice. Everybody should just be doing it because it's such an easy thing to do, and everything is there. It's like anytime you're cooking, you are literally doing spell work. If you're not activating the ingredients for what they're good for, you're just wasting the energy. You're wasting the additional energy. So make sure that what you're doing is of substance this week. Requires you to balance the earth element and the water element. The earth element and the water element needs to be balanced, because if you don't balance those two out this week, you will continue to be stuck in the mud. And then the eclipse will be like a punch in the face. And then it's just going to feel like, a lot. It's going to feel like a lot. We're trying to get to this, okay? We're trying to get to this week. Okay, we're trying to get to a point where we're actually celebrating the breakthroughs that we're having instead of feeling stuck. You don't want to come out of this eclipse season feeling stuck. So there's a need for you to reevaluate. And there's a need for you to take actions on certain things that like you've been needed to do. That's the other thing about it. Some of y'all need to make peace with some of the actions that you need to take during this time. Again, very, very heavily focused on Uranus energy. Uranus is causing chaos, period. And sometimes we need to be the chaos. I cannot stress that enough. Sometimes you need to accept that you need to be the chaos. You need to be the chaos. You need to be the one that rips the Band-Aid, okay? You need to be the person. You need to be the person. Sometimes if you don't do it, it will to you somewhere else. Like your spirits be like, oh, you don't want to do it yourself. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to send somebody to do it for you because you don't want to do it yourself. Certain things you need to address on your own. This is one of those instances where it requires you to be a little bit more present, be a little bit more mindful about what choices you're making in regards to getting to this, okay? Because the Four of Wands it's you literally sitting and celebrating the things that have come in, the breakthroughs that have passed through, the place that we are at now because of the choices you made. It is very, very layered. It is very layered. And at the end of the day, even if you had to make a decision or do something that was, that feels like, oh my God, man, I wish I didn't have to do that. I wish that I could have done different, but I did. Just make peace with it. Make peace with it. Just make peace with it. Do not beat yourself up for things that you know you had to do. Make peace with it. If you allow it to sit in your subconsciousness, you're going to be haunted by it. Be mindful about the way you're working with the water element, because like I said, the water element is the element that, because it triggers your subconscious mind, you will get haunted in your dreams. Like things that you have not addressed are very much haunting you in your dreams. The same way that Pisces season triggers everybody into reflection. This is a time for you to actively stay on course, okay? For you to actively sit in your power. I cannot stress this enough. Sit in your power. Sit in your power. Take a stock, take a look around of what has come to pass because of your actions, because of your intentions, because of the work that you've been putting in. And don't downplay any single moment about it. Do not do that either. That's not what you should be doing right now. This is the time for balance. Literally the part of what the legacy of what Libra season left us with needs to be, you need to be aware of that. There's definitely that energy of balance, that lingering balance that we are required to have. And because we went from a full moon in Libra to now a new moon and solar eclipse in Taurus, that's all Venus Venusian energy. Like at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and that you feel good, that you're okay, that you are, you have processed things. Like you still need to make space and time for yourself to kind of navigate those emotions, because it's not, listen, if you don't, you're just gonna give yourself a harder time than you need to, for no reason, like literally for no reason. Archangel Michael, what do we need to know? What do we need to know for this week? Okay. Archangel Michael just threw a whole bunch of stuff on the floor, so let me just grab it. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Whew, that was a lot. Oh. Wait, hold on. I'm about to make a clumsy mistake. There we go. Okay, wow. Who is surprised? Because I'm not surprised. The romance angels are helping you. So for some of y'all who have been actively doing some love work, romance angels are helping you. Now, when it comes to this, one of the things I will say, Taurus season is a good time to be doing love work. My only thing about, to be mindful of about, Taurus season and love work is that there's a whole ass Mercury retrograde. Like right now we're in the pre-shadow phase, which means that Mercury started pretty much turning to go retrograde. And it's going to be going retrograde soon in May, up until June. So there is this kind of like, if you're trying to set intention for a love, or you already have someone in your life or something has like come through, be very mindful of the communications that you're having, because some of it it's about to get messy. Okay. Some of it is about to get messy, and you should be aware of that. You should be aware of the mess. It could get a little messy. It could get a little bit messy. So what I would recommend you doing during this time is to be mindful of how you're communicating. Don't just say stuff to say stuff, because you literally just, oh, I remember when you said this, but do not just say things to say things. Make sure that they have intent behind it, okay? Let go of fear now. Why? Because this week is all about you sitting in your power. So why would you be sitting in fear if you're sitting in your power? Yeah, it don't make sense. Let go of fear now, because there's a lot that needs to be, again, subconsciously, you need to navigate what's coming up within your dreams, what's haunting you, how are you emotionally feeling, how are you creatively feeling, what do you feel like expressing yourself about, what do you feel like you need to kind of vent about, what do you feel like you just need to express. Y'all need to analyze where fear is. Okay, y'all need to analyze where fear is, how it's impacting you, how it has been affecting you mentally, how it's affecting you spiritually. Wait, 1 second. I just need to, because for some reason the internet keeps going in and out. I don't know why. But there needs to be kind of a reevaluation, okay, when it comes to how you are processing. And if there is a lingering of fear, if there's a lingering of doubt, you need to let it go. You need to let it go. Things are about to get messy, and it's going to require for you to have just for you to literally be like, no, it's going to work out. It's going to, you need to have the illest faith right now, straight up. Okay. And focus on divine perfect health, because one of the things about you sitting in your power requires you to analyze where you have been kind of where you have opportunities of healing as well. Because when you are sitting in your power, that means that you are sitting in a space where you are also healed. You are also in a space where there may be a lot of things going on, but you are yourself, you're healed. You don't necessarily have a lot of things to either work on or on a spiritual level, you have done a lot, or you're benefiting from some healing that you have done, and it is influencing what's happening in your life right now. So there is, reevaluate what's going on with you guys, like what's going on spiritually, what's going on emotionally, how you're feeling about your life right now, how you're feeling about your relationships, how you're feeling about even certain things within your practice, like really open up. Again, this is one of the reasons why we're getting the High Priestess card, because part of sitting in your power is you having to like analyze and having to deep dive, look at your life, look at things that you've done, spell work that you've done, things that you said that has been impacting your life and your spell work, your relationships, all of that. And anything that needs to be reevaluated then needs to be worked on. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, because they don't say things for no reason. Okay, your spirits don't say stuff for no reason. At the end of the day, there's always a reason. Always a reason. Which is over here. Okay. Okay. What do we need to know collectively? What do we need to know collectively? What is going on this week collectively? Okay. Okay. All right. I got attacked with a bunch of cards. Oh, let me just grab this one. And then... Okay. And that fell. There we go. All right. Let me grab this one that fell on the floor. Okay. So messages from the mermaids. The first one that's coming up is free spirit. Okay, free spirit. This week is definitely a little bit singular versus dual when it comes to how we relate to other people. And this week you might feel a little bit like, oh, I kind of want to do this. Oh, I kind of want to go here. You know what? I'm really craving this, or I really go with the flow. Go with the flow of your own energy. Go with the flow with how you've been feeling. Go with the flow of what the direction, especially intuitively. I cannot stress this enough. If you are intuitively getting called to do something, okay, if you're intuitively like, you're like, you know what, I feel like going over here. I feel like I'm going to get ice cream. I feel like going up. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. I cannot stress that enough. Just do it. This is a time for you to kind of like go and ebb and flow with your own energy. We're also getting inner knowing and awareness, because as I have said, we are embodying High Priestess energy this week. There is a lot of analyzation that you can do, especially when it comes to things that you need to heal. But 1000%, you need to follow your intuition. If your intuition is telling you, oh, red flags, it's red flags. It's red flags. If your intuition is telling you, you know what, I don't really want to do that, don't do it. If your intuition is saying, you know what, I really think this would be a good thing for me, you need to listen to yourself. Your intuition is the key this week. Okay, the way that you accept your inner knowledge, the way that you accept what you know to be true, okay, the truth at the core, that's ultimately what's going to get you into that space where you are in a state of awareness, where you are connected to that inner knowing, where you are connected to your intuition in a way that it makes you wiser, because you're listening to yourself. It makes you wiser because you are listening to what that moment requires of you. And it makes you it makes you have a lot better choices at the end of the day. So I'm telling you, this week, y'all need to be a little elusive as well, because we're also getting the mystery card, which means that some of y'all don't need to be telling your business to everybody. Okay, y'all know y'all be doing this sometimes. I say this like at least once a week or once every other week. Don't be telling your business to other people. This is not the time, especially on an eclipse. Oh no, people will be moving sideways. You thinking this is? You thinking regular full moons and regular new moons and or something? Eclipse energy can make people do some really crazy mystery. Just sit in your mystery. Don't tell everybody your business. Everybody don't need to know everything, okay? Everybody don't need to know like what you're doing, what you're thinking, for what? Why do they need to know? So listen, ask yourself, before you tell somebody your business, ask yourself, is it their business? Is it their business? Because if it's not their business, why are you talking about it? Okay, is it their business? No. Why are you telling them? This week, I'm gonna need that to avoid through eclipse energy. Just move in silence, okay? Not to quote what's his face, who went to jail for doing the stupidest shit. Literally, can you believe that he was born on my birthday? I'm so mad. I share a birthday with him, even though I'm not gonna lie, I'm Trapped in the Closet was brilliant. That shit was hilarious. But I'm still mad at that man. Why he did all that for? We don't talk about it. We don't talk about him. But no, seriously, like this is a moving in silence type of moment. I have to quote that because that needed to be said. And y'all need to move in silence this week. This is not the time for you to be sharing this stuff. Oh, how you doing? I'm doing great. I've been feeling good. I've been working on myself. Oh, okay, cool. Keep things light, babies. Like, I need y'all to keep it light. Keep it cute. Keep it light. Keep it cute. Okay? What do we need to know collectively this week? Okay. Ooh, one more card. What do we need to know collectively this week? Collectively. Ooh. What do we need to know collectively this week? Wow. The first one. The answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. Okay. The answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. Okay. Now, when it comes to this, please remember that there's a part of the way the chart is set up that there is a little bit of air there. And there is that energy of like, there's that energy of the way that we are communicating our voice, the things that we're saying, how we're interacting, how we are letting people know our business. Even if it's just like playful, even if it's just like, oh, well, I'm just trying to be nice. We were just having a conversation. On that kind of level, there's an aspect of it astrologically within the chart right now that can be a little bit dangerous because we're in the pre-shadow phase of Mercury going retrograde. It's a lot. Okay. Now, with the answers you need, that shit just flew out my hand. Well, the answers that you need are coming with that specific card. That card is about you getting clarity. Now, one of the things about Mercury retrograde, as we move closer to Mercury retrograde, is that it does trigger clarity, just not in the way that you want to receive it. Okay. Mercury retrograde is something that a lot of people don't like generally. And it's because the way that the truth comes out, and usually the truth is in miscommunication, because if you think about the way that we all connect and relate to each other, there's a lot of times that we're having an internal dialogue about something, but the other person is like, that's not even what I thought about it. That's not even how I feel about it. Like, why were you even there? Why did you assume? Why did you go there in your brain? Like, why did you how did you get from A to Z? Like, that's not what I meant, or that's not what I said, or like, there's some times where your intuition would be like, this is how this person felt. This is what this person was meant by that and all that shit. And you will be correct. And then there are certain times where we will literally be running a whole narrative about a situation and we'll be wrong. And we'll need some clarity, or we'll be like, this is the behavior that I witnessed, but I don't understand why this person's being this way. I don't understand why they're ignoring me. I don't understand why they're not texting me back. Like, I don't understand. And then it'll be like, oh, the person was just going through a whole situation. And internally, you thought this person hated you. This person didn't want to talk to you anymore. This person is like, just avoiding you. Like, it's all about you. Again, one of the things that I have said, even since last year, that I have to say again, is that the universe, the world does not revolve around you. I know that we move through the ego because we are our own sons. Okay, we are the sun to ourselves. We are the main character in the story, so we are always prioritizing the viewpoint, okay, to us. We always are. Okay, it's us, right? But there's times that we need to like remember, like, oh wait, it's not just about us. Like, they have their own lives, and the way that their energy is impacting me is not necessarily about me. Sometimes it could be them going through something. Sometimes it could be, like, it literally has nothing to do with you. You could be taking something hella personal that has nothing to do with you. And so that card comes up to say, The answers you need are coming. The clarity that you need about it are coming. And the way that they're coming, you might not necessarily enjoy, because again, Mercury retrograde is that type of retrograde, especially in Gemini. Y'all, it's a mess. Like, let's just be real. Virgos and Geminis be going through it when Mercury's in retrograde, but it's a mess. It's a mess because that's their ruling planet. So when it goes retrograde, it's a mess. It's just messy. It's a messy. It's messy. So what you need to focus on right now is focus on you. This is a you time, okay? This is a you week, okay? Be a Taurus this week. Be a Taurus. Focus on your own pleasure. Focus on your own values. Focus, like, yes, you can love and care for people and love, and but when it comes to any type of narratives that you're running through your mind, you need to take a step back. Dial it back before you run somewhere else and just like, oh, this is what this is. Oh, I know this person is da 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 da. You don't know what's going on with that person, so you need to chill. Okay, let's get off the soap operas for a second. Chill, dial it back until you get that confirmation. That is a lesson in discernment, by the way. Okay, a lesson in discernment, because part of discernment is being able to analyze the situation. Take the evidence that you have in that situation for what it is in that moment. And then as time progresses, when you see the overarching energy of everything that has been accumulated together, then making an educated opinion about it. Not just sitting here and be like, oh, I kind of felt this. So, this must be what it is. Some of y'all be moving through your intuition, through your ego. Sometimes it's not your intuition. Sometimes it's your ego, okay? Sometimes y'all be taking things personally that y'all don't need to take personally, okay? I don't know who needed to be called out about that in this live, but one of y'all did. So keep that in mind. Sometimes it's not your intuition. Sometimes it's your ego. And sometimes you're doing it to your damn self. Sometimes you are literally making yourself the main character in somebody else's life and somebody else's experience, and you're expecting them to center you when they're too busy centering themselves in their own lives. Like, y'all need to get it together. The next card is be bold and make the first move, Cardinal Moon. This is something that will probably get triggered while the moon is in Aries, which is coming up in the beginning of the week. In the beginning of the week, because right now the moon is in Pisces. So be mindful of the things that you're triggered to do while the moon is in Aries this week. You might feel like, like initiating something, or like making a move, or saying something, or acting in, like, especially emotionally when the moon is in Aries. It can be a little bit, impatient. It can, get to the point. It can be very passionate. It can be very sensual. Okay, it can be a lot of things. But this is a time for you to literally be a little bit more. Again, it has to do with you sitting in your power at the end of the day. Because how do you navigate your life right now if not by taking control of it? Okay, it's either you're controlled. It's either be controlled or you're controlling yourself. Like, who is playing the game right now? Who is running? Okay, so in part this week is going to require for you to pull it back, dial it back. Okay, dial it back and actively choose wisely based on that beautiful discernment that you have. Okay, choose wisely and then make your moves that way. Okay, make your move that way. And then we have full moon in Libra. A win-win outcome is forecast. Some of the intentions that some of you guys set within the full moon in Libra are still coming to pass. Okay, some of your intentions that y'all set are still coming to pass. There are certain things that are already that have been in motion for a minute, but there's breakthroughs happening this week. It really feels like that. If you've been literally feeling stuck, come the end of the week, it could 360, like a whole 180, because the energy of there's this just push towards like the newness. Like, there's a push for that upgrade specifically that Uranus is triggering. Okay, and so the win-win outcome is forecast is like, you're gonna win anyway. You're gonna get what you want anyway. So if one of the things I've said before, and I'm saying it again, if you know you're gonna win, if you know that, if I could tell you like, hey, you're gonna get exactly what you want, why would you still worry about what's going on right now if you know you're gonna get exactly what you want? Y'all need to move like y'all got it. Y'all know y'all getting exactly like regardless, like you're gonna get exactly what you want. Period. 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 What? Period. Bottom of the deck is believe in the impossible, by the way. So some of y'all need to get some of y'all just really need to stop doubting yourselves. Like straight up, like stop doubting yourself. Stop doubting the way that your life is just the way everything's coming to pass. Like stop doubting yourself. This is not the time for you to be like sitting here just like, oh, but I don't know, but I don't know. For the person who asked, can you make more Taino reconnected videos? I am planning on doing so. There's a couple videos that I already planned on doing. The only thing that I'm gonna say about me making Taino reconnecting videos is that there's a part of it that I can't overstep. And I'll try to explain it in the best way that I can. So I'm not, even though I guess because I have a platform, some people have called me a Taino elder and stuff like that, but I'm not a Taino elder. Like that is literally that's not my role in my tribe. I'm not a Taino elder at all. I am an enrolled tribal member within a Taino tribe, but because I'm not an elder specifically, I don't always when it comes to specifically talking about different Taino things, I don't want to make you guys think like I'm promoting myself in that way, or that I'm like pushing that type of viewpoint in any capacity, because that's not what it is. Like it would be deceptive, you know what I mean? Like as far as like my role in other things, as far as like who I am, my platform, like what I do and all that kind of stuff, I know who I am in that regard. But when it comes to anything that has to do with Taino content and stuff like that, like I don't want for people to have the perception that I'm trying to be perceived as a Taino elder when I know that that's not something that I am. Like I definitely don't mind making reconnecting videos. There's a lot of like different ideas that Spirit has given me to share with you guys anyway. But I feel like there's limitations in many ways. Like this is my Capricorn, by the way. This is my inner thoughts just talking about this, because this is something that I've been thinking about for a minute. But it's just like this is the way that my Capricorn side just navigates, because my Capricorn side is like, okay, structure. I am not gonna sit here up on here and try to like tell you, oh, I'm an elder. I'm not that like. And one of the things that I remember at Taino Library had posted a video a while back saying that elder can be different people, because if you know information, if you know certain like information like more than somebody else, then you could be perceived as an elder to that person. So I understand that perception of it, where it's like, okay, I have a platform. There's a lot of people who follow me, especially on TikTok. So there's in part for Taino content as well. But I'm also not going to sit here and make y'all believe that I am like running a whole tribe, because that's literally not what I'm doing. And I just don't want it to be deceptive. That's just where I come up from it. You have been having mad imposter syndrome. I refuse to have imposter syndrome. I know that sounds hilarious. Like that just sounds like such a hilarious thing to say. But no, I really do refuse to have a like imposter syndrome. And the reason why I refuse to have it is because just the way that I work with my ancestors. Like if I could go into a meditation right now, be like, hey, can I please talk to all my Taino ancestors real quick? I just need to, check in or whatnot. I'm just gonna see them there, and just literally every time I do a meditation with them, it's just like, okay, and they're all there. Like what? There's nothing for me to be an imposter about. Like this shit is in my blood. Like period. So I don't, I'm not gonna sit here and like this shit is in my blood. Like it's kind of like, somebody else. Like I feel like when it comes to imposter syndrome, it could be the cause can be so many things, especially when you're mixed. Like I'm mixed. I have so much. I call myself a sancocho, okay, you know, and the sancocho is my favorite Dominican dish, so you know. I'm just saying. But when it comes to like the thing, like I'm already mixed. I have so much in my ancestry. And on top of me being mixed, I have to honor my ancestors from different areas of the world differently. Like my Asian ancestors will not let me give up rice. Will not let me give what? Never. Never happening. You will not see me not eating rice. Like please. So I have to honor my ancestors in different ways. And I've been wanting to kind of do a video like that, like kind of breaking down like certain ways. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to have to like explain because my ancestral practice is so private and like sacred to me that I don't even want to share parts of that. But sometimes they're like, okay, but you should talk about certain things. So trust me, I have a list of things to talk about on. You guys will be getting a lot more content and stuff, especially now that I moved and I'm way more like grounded in the space and all that stuff. So you guys are going to get more content from me. So stay tuned for all that stuff. But when it comes to the Taino content, I just don't want to come off like I am running the shit. I know exactly everything that I'm talking about. I know all the when I'm not doing that. Because first of all, I'm still learning myself. I'm still reconnecting myself. I'm still growing myself. And even though like I feel like when it comes to my Taino practice, like I have a really like a strong spiritual practice within my Taino practice, I can't talk about that either. That's kind of the other thing. Taino spirituality is closed, so I can't go on TikTok and be like, do this, do this, do that, do this, do that, do that, because it's closed. There's only so much that I can do and so much that I can share about it. Like it's yeah. So it's very layered. I've been trying to find ways to navigate it in a way that makes sense. So I think I'm just gonna start a reconnecting like that, like series kind of thing, and just talk about different things that I've like encountered on my journey and stuff like that. Right now I've just been working on learning the language, which if you ask any reconnecting native, it's not easy. But I'm just been kind of working on there, and it's just y'all, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of work, but it's like one day at a time. But because I'm already like you guys, because I'm already working on certain things, I'm not gonna come on here and be like, oh, I'm gonna teach y'all the language. I'm gonna do because I don't know the whole language. Like it's not. It's kind of like me being someone who's naive, me being someone who's not educated enough to talk about it, talking about it, and then making you guys believe that I know everything and just making myself be seen as an elder like that. Like I just feel like that would just be, disingenuous. Like I'm not. You will not catch me being fake out here. Like I'm not trying to perform or trying to like do stuff that doesn't make sense. Like if I share something with y'all, there's a reason, so yeah, so I'm still working on navigating, but you see the way my internal thoughts are, focused on when it comes to Taino content. This is why. This is why. Okay. But I promise you're gonna get more Taino content. I'm not trying to be the person that's just sitting here trying to sell my ancestors for views or clicks or whatever. Like y'all know, for those who've been following me for a long time, y'all know I don't do that anyway. I'm not that person. There are people on here on this app. There's people on all the platforms that are literally just like, we'll dress up in full regalia and we'll just be throwing a show for clicks and views. And you will not catch me doing that. Like, you just won't catch me. Like, when I get my regalia, sure, I'll make a video of me having it or whatever. But you will not catch me just click and viewing. Like, for what? Like, it just, yeah. My BF wants to reconnect with Taino spirituality, but his family is in PR, is Pentecostal. What I recommend to you is to look into espiritismo, like Puerto Rican, Puerto Rican voodoo, like Sanse. I would tell you to look into because when it comes to Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, we are literally brothers and sisters when it comes to the spiritual practices, more than Cuba, because you guys know Cuba got hella segregated from us, even though we're still all brothers and sisters. Like, this is why Santeria is like the predominant like religion from Cuba. But the way that Dominican and Puerto Rican spirituality and spiritismo is set up is very much mixed. Like we have so much different types of influences. Like y'all, I feel like if somebody were to do a whole ass breakdown of all of our influences, like they be like, yo, what is all of this? Why do you guys practice like this? That's just we have so much of the mixture of different things and influences around the world in our practices. But in both Puerto Rican spirituality and Dominican spirituality, there's always a focus on the Native American division, like Native American spirituality when it comes to Taino spirituality. That's where I would recommend looking at first, because it's there. With Dominican voodoo specifically, we have our Taino division, our Native American division is called Agua Dulce, which is basically the Sweetwater division, and that's whole entire part of 21 divisions, 20 like Dominican voodoo is Taino spirituality. So there's a lot that you can kind of do, but as far as like practicing it, you as far as like even like looking at having some sort of routine and stuff, what I would recommend is going to the islands, and actually looking for an elder that practices that specific part, or is in conjunction to other parts, because the religion itself, both of them are very, very mixed. They have influences from everywhere. But when it comes to looking at our native division, there are certain things that we're actively indigenous. It just takes a lot of research. That's what I would say. It takes a lot of research. I feel like there's a part of me that wants to talk about the División India, like our Taino division, more publicly, but there's also a part of me that's like, no, because it's also in part it's closed. There's a closed aspect to it. So I'm like, I get pulled and tugged and stuff about, you know, what I post in regards to stuff like that. Because it's technically closed, like there's only certain things that I can really share about it. Like it's a little difficult. It's easier to probably go to DR and like actually, you know, talk to an elder and like, you know, get a reading and do all that kind of stuff. But 21 divisions, especially the División India, that one is always more nature-based. That's what I would say. When it comes to Taino spirituality, everything is heavily nature-based. There's also, what I would tell you is to look into Taino library has different books, like free books that you can read on Taino spirituality as well, and just research in that way. But there's different connections within the islands, and there's different, you know, influences that they left within the islands spiritually. You just have to do the legwork to look it up. It's complicated, y'all. This is what I mean. Like I can only share so much publicly about my practice, because it's very layered. It's very layered. And the other thing is like we're also not supposed to share everything. There are certain things that are meant to be like, you know, so it's very layered. Yeah, that's what I can say about that. So let's pull the last card for the week. I'm sorry, we had like a little tiny break. I just wanted to answer that question. But let's pull the last cards for this week, and then we will close off the live until the next video. Okay. What do we need to know collectively? I love that the way that the cards are coming out is just very much like what I said. And y'all know that like spirits be trolling me. Y'all, okay. All right. The way they be trolling. Okay, so the first one is friendship. So like I said before, stop telling people your business. Stop telling people your business. This week is not the week. Then we have grounded. What did I say about needing grounded? Okay. Then we have earth. Trust, because like I said before, some of y'all need to just have trust in the things that you set in motion, in the manifestations that you set in motion. Y'all just need to trust, okay? And then we have new life, because I feel like by the time we meet next Monday, some of y'all are gonna be like, no, Abby, everything shifted. Like everything straight shifted this week. Like what the hell? New life, new life. there's a new beginning happening. There's a lot that's going to be eclipse season. It's going to trigger a lot of things, and you have to go with the flow. You have to go with the flow, but stay in your power. That is the key this week. Stay in your power. Okay. So that was the weekly healing circle, y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming. Just to remind y'all about the updates. For those who are new here, make sure that you follow me on YouTube, especially if you want to revisit this live. But also, there's a couple of new things that, I just posted. One being that I just added new dates for the Akashic Records 5-hour intensive, which is where I teach you how to read the Akashic Records. And it is probably one of my favorite classes to teach because it's all about, it ends up being my favorite healing modality. It really comes down to that. It's really my favorite healing modality because it's such a gentle way to heal. But the past life work is not something that everybody does. So it's something that is so needed, especially by BIPOC. I cannot stress this enough. BIPOC needs to be doing more past life work. It needs to be doing. I'm manifesting BIPOC doing more like past life work, because the way that some of these traumas are still actively taking control of people, like it comes up in readings all of the time. Like if you get a reading from me and it's a past life issue, it straight up comes up as a past life issue, and it's just one of those things where it's like you got some past life work to do. So make sure you guys check that out if you want to learn how to read the records. Also, make sure that you sign up for the workshop that I'm having in May, which is all about energy healing. It's an energy healing 101. We're going to be talking about the basics of energy healing for literally everything. Okay, it's going to be very, 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 like, it's just going to be a fun workshop because I feel like it's just very educational. I feel like when anybody thinks of energy healing, they just think of like energy. They just think of Reiki, or they just think of, like crystals, but they don't think of all of the other ways that you energy heal. So definitely make sure you get your tickets. The link will be in my bio. If you cannot make it on May 4th, that's totally fine. All of my workshops are always available for replay with the link below, like with the link that you get for the workshop. So definitely make sure that you sign up. And if you're a Patreon member on the High Priestess level, you already have tickets, by the way. I always got to remind people because sometimes some of my Patreon members will end up buying the ticket and be like, oh, wait, I'm a High Priest level. So make sure that if you're a High Priestess level on my Patreon, you already have tickets, so you're good. But yeah, definitely for those who want to come through, the link is in the bio for that as well. I will see y'all tomorrow for there's some videos that I'm posting as well. There's some questions and things that I'm answering. Make sure you're following me on YouTube as well because they get the majority of my content. But thank y'all for being here. I will see y'all in the next video. Love you guys so much. Oh, and thank you, Lonnie, for the flowers. I saw it. I love y'all. Have a good night. Bye, y'all. Have